Hi everyone, happy summer. Today we are going to make a delicious baked bean recipe for 4th of July, any fun family gathering that is super easy. So the first thing you're going to do is cut up a half an onion and 2 cloves of garlic. And I just did that in advance. And I don't use oil, I use 1 tablespoon of water. So I've just had that going here so you didn't have to sit and watch that. And as most of my recipes, they all start the same. Garlic, onion, and water. All right. And now I have improvised this recipe for some of my favorite ingredients. And so I will write it out in the comments. So the first thing we're going to add to this is 1/4 of a cup of tomato paste. Some recipes use ketchup, and I'm sure that's perfectly fine also. But I'm going to use tomato paste. And then, so we've kind of got the sweet savory thing going on here. For the sweet, I'm using 1/4 of a cup of maple syrup. Now, some people will even use a half, so I'm going to start with 1/4 and give it a little taste test. You can also use brown sugar if you don't have maple syrup. And again, like I like to show, Costco, that's a Kirkland brand, has wonderful and affordable organic maple syrup. Okay, then we have some molasses that I've had sitting here, which is going to be interesting here. Oh, here we go. It's almost to the bottom, so I want to finish it off. So let's see. There it comes. Great. We're going to do 2 tablespoons. There is the option of doing more. I'm going to start with less, and then I can add if needed. Okay. And then, ooh, we're almost done. Just a few more things. So I've been doing my best to omit vinegar. Once I learned from the medical medium, Anthony Williams, and all his amazing books, that all the negative side effects of vinegar, and I apologize that a lot of my recipes online have vinegar, but you can sub out any vinegar for lemon lime juice or just lemon or lime. So I'm going to use a tablespoon of lemon juice instead of vinegar. And vinegar was also making me sneeze. So that was another reason I took it out. But it is hard on your teeth, hard on your stomach. And you can learn more about that if you follow the medical medium on Instagram. He just posted a glyph on all the side effects of using vinegar. So we're going to stir these together. I went a little crazy here with my molasses. And bring these flavors together. And we're going to add just 2 spices. I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of dried ground mustard. You could use regular mustard. You could use two teaspoons of regular mustard. This is just a 1/2 since it's dried. And then I'm going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And you, of course, could omit the salt. And then another spice that is optional that I am omitting for my own sake is paprika. If you like it a little spicy, you could use some paprika. I just want to make sure we get every drop of maple syrup. Okay. So this is a pretty mild recipe, not too sweet, not too spicy, but of course, like I always encourage, make it your own. Then we're going to add our beans, and I'm using some organic Great Northern beans from Sprouts. And 1 can of beans has 28 grams of protein, because a lot of people ask vegans, where do you get your protein? But there's protein in everything. There's protein in greens. There's even traces of protein in fruit. So the bigger question I encourage you to ask people if someone asks you that is to ask them where they get their fiber. Because animal products, meat, dairy, and eggs, fish, have 0 fiber. And you need fiber to help keep your colon healthy, right? So we're going to add in 2 cans of white northern or white navy beans. Okay, and that's it. I'm going to stir this together. Now this is gonna be in an 8x8 pan, so this isn't a huge recipe. Of course, you could double it. There are other recipes online that are in a 9x13 if you're having a very large gathering. This is just for Wade and I, so we're gonna keep it smaller. So even though I wouldn't mind eating baked beans for a week. So I'm gonna stir this, I'm gonna make sure I got it all together. And again, add more or less if there's something you like, or omit. And just be creative and trust yourself. That is how we learn. Okay, so we are gonna put this in an 8x8 pan. I've had the oven preheating at 350. Let me just get a little bit more stir. I really emphasize garlic and onion for me in everything. I do better than that than I do with spices in a jar. So that's where I always try to get most of my flavor is from those two whole foods instead of spices. But feel free to spice away. Okay. Here we go. Some recipes sometimes have a little barbecue sauce, so that's another option. Smells amazing. The molasses and the maple syrup are going to be the real keys here for flavor also. All right. So we're going to cover this and bake it for 45 minutes. And then we're gonna uncover it and let it bake another 15. So it'll be an hour total. This way you know exactly what is in your baked beans, even though the canned ones are delicious. I admit that. So we are gonna cover this up. All right. Set the timer for 45 minutes, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, we're back, and the baked beans cooked for an hour, and they're actually delicious. I snuck a little bite. So I'm going to move them into a separate dish. And I have 2 veggie burgers on my site. One's made, maybe even 3. One's made with Granny Smith apples and butternut squash, which is amazing. And the other one is made with beets and I believe lentils. And both of those are great that you could serve these baked beans with, or the forks over knives carrot dogs, which are very easy also. You could also buy just vegan plant-based hot dogs at the grocery store. Trader Joe's has good ones also that are just ready to go. So there we go. You could garnish with some green onions or nothing. And I hope you enjoy them. Happy 4th of July, and thank you always for joining me in saving animals with your food choices. Have a great week.